Hello, friend. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Angie. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we are going to be talking about when strategy needs adjusting. Summer is right around the corner. Praise the Lord. And you know what? It can get a little bit crazier. Many people's schedules change. They're just more abundant. There's never anything in the fridge, according to all of your children. And it just is a little bit different of a season than what we are coming out of. So let's talk about that today and how schedules can shift during different seasons. And I don't want you to think of a season as a weather season, but a season more as a time in life based on your schedule. So a different season could be maybe a couple months where you have a big project at work that you are doing and it requires some more hours to be committed to your job. A season could be an illness in the family, whether it's a long-term illness or maybe it's just a bout of colds or flu that's going through the entire family. That definitely is a season that needs a different strategy, right? So today, what I want to talk about is the season of summer, or even more so than that, the season of kids being done with school and being at home. And then also, especially if you live in an area where we have weather seasons, like summer is beautiful in Wisconsin, and winter, some people feel is beautiful, but it tends to be a time of the season where people are more cooped up in Wisconsin, and in the summer, we definitely are out and about more. So like that is also a season in and of itself. So let's talk about that today and how we can adjust our calendar, our strategy, our systems in order to reflect that the season that we are in. My name is Angie, and I'm a personal strategy coach. I support driven working moms in creating rock solid systems so dinner isn't a last minute scramble, kids logistics aren't chaos, and aftercare isn't an afterthought, or self-care, I should say, isn't an afterthought. And instead of guilt and exhaustion, you can finally feel present, energized, and in control of the life you are building, while also having time for yourself. If you are here, I would love to know that you're here. So please say hi, whether you are live or catching the replay, let me know. And then let me know too, is this a season for you that is different? Whether it's a schedule shift at work, or kids are home for the summer, or you're just changing the things that you do, and maybe you spend more time outside gardening or whatnot, which alleviates time to do something else. So I would love to know, just type in the comments, yes or no, if you are in a different season, or just right around the corner from one right now as well. So, all right, like I said, summer in Wisconsin definitely consists of being outside more, maybe more vacations, more camping, all of those kinds of things. And you can go from a pretty routine schedule to one that seems a little bit more chaotic. And it just seems like not structured. It seems like you're flying by the seat of your pants. And even if you are a person that loves to fly by the seat of your pants and doesn't like structure within your day, there are certain things that just make you feel like you're not going crazy, that keep you anchored. And so I'm going to talk about a couple of ways today that you can adjust your strategies or your systems in the summer, especially with having kids home from school. So within 2 weeks, you're not thinking, okay, when are they going back to school? Let's start a countdown, right? All right, so first thing to think about is, instead of a more structured schedule, a lot of times in the summer, people like a little bit more fluidity, but still want something that is structured. So I tend to think of more like anchors. What can you do throughout your day or your week that kind of keep you anchored? Is there like a morning routine that you want to set in place? And instead of in the morning, during, like, say, during a school year, you get up in the morning, you have half an hour, whatever it is to get ready to leave. And then you eat breakfast, get ready, all of the things, you leave to go to work and school. And then of course, work and school are structured. And then you get done with that, you pick up kids, you get home, you make dinner, you go to the kids' different events, you do homework, you go to bed, you get up, you start it all over again. Your day is pretty structured throughout the day with maybe an hour or two in there that has a little bit of fluidity. So in the summer, it tends to be, if you're still working, it tends to be you're at work and you have that structure at work, but the rest seems to be chaos. And even for the kids, it can seem to be a little bit more chaotic. So what I would recommend doing is I would recommend having something more like anchors instead of a solid structure if structure seems a little bit too heavy during this season. So morning routine, or maybe an evening routine, or maybe there's a routine in midday where the young kids take a nap, the older kids are doing something quiet, whether it's reading a book to refuel themselves, or maybe they like building and tinkering with things and they're doing Legos or whatever it is. But that area of time is more of a refueling time, whatever it is to that person to refuel so they're ready for the rest of the day. So certain different anchors. Maybe you still keep a grocery shopping strategy where a certain day of the week you still do the grocery shopping, or maybe that changes. We're going to talk about that, and we're actually going to talk about that next. So that is a good segue into the next thing, your grocery system or strategy. A lot of times in the summer, you are eating differently. You're eating more vegetables, more fruits, things that are in season. Here we have a lot more salads, and we do pretty much a salad every single day. Maybe a mini salad with a meal. It's not like we do a big, huge salad, but things are changing. If kids are home, they're always asking, what's to eat? What's for a snack? And so to have something like go-to snacks is a really smart strategy during this season, where you can have maybe cheese and crackers that are readily available, carrots that are cut up, apples, bananas, watermelon cut up, all popsicles maybe even. So all these little things just that you know that are going to pop up during this season of being off of school or summer that you want to have prepared just to make it less stressful for everybody. They're going to be outside playing, burning off some energy, and then they're going to get hungry. Whereas at school, they didn't have that. I mean, they did go outside for recess if they're younger, but they didn't have the break time. It was basically just lunch and then come home for a snack. So think about the snacks that you are going to want to have in the house and make sure that's built into your grocery list. As well as, do you need to adjust lunches? If they took cold lunches at school, are you preparing lunches now at home? Does that need to be added to your grocery list, or somehow fit into the routine of the day of getting lunches ready? And then also dinner. Are you going to have more time or less time to make supper? And what does that look like? Do you eat differently for dinner in the summer than you do during the school year? And that sounds like a weird question until you really think about it, because we definitely eat differently than during the school year. We definitely grill out more with the weather being nice and not wanting to heat up the house as much. So we have more like summer meals like burgers and brats and things like that versus something that you would cook in the oven like a casserole. So think about how that's going to change. And is it something where you're spending more time doing fun outdoor things or having more in your schedule for summer that you want to maybe have groceries delivered to you? Will that make life easier in this season? And then once school starts, you go back to going grocery shopping at the store. Think about the different adjustments that you need to make in order for life to run smoother in this season. Another area to think about is where are you going to place some downtime? And I think this is so, so important for not only your kids, but for yourself. And a lot of times, the reason that we start counting down the days for the kids go back to school is because there is not enough downtime. And we often think, oh my gosh, I'm with these kids 24/7 and it's driving me crazy. And excuse me, I just need time away. But really, truly, your kids are probably feeling that too. Like, mom is there 24/7, dad is always here, or whatnot, and they just need some space as well. So think of how you're going to build that into your day or into your week, just to allow people to have some downtime. It might be once a week you have a day that is really essentially a do nothing day. And if you want to have that as an anchor, it could be every Wednesday, or a certain day of the week is always a day that is, everyone knows it's just going to be a downtime day. And then that way they can plan things for that day. If they, want to build something, or if they have an art project they want to work on, or whatever fuels them, they have the entire day to do that. Now, it might be that once a week, it just seems like by the time you get to that day, it's very much needed, but it needs to happen a little bit more frequently. And maybe you need to refuel every single day. And that's where like a midday routine could come in, those anchors where you're like, okay, it's quiet time, you can read a book. Maybe one of your children fuels and gets more filled by being around other people. That's something to pay attention to as well. They might feel more relaxed and filled their cup and all of that when they go to a friend's house. And you may find, hey, if they go to a friend's house once a week, they are good for the week, or they're good for a couple of days. But if they don't, they start to get cranky and crabby and just are more challenging to live with. And it might be that they love to be social. Whereas another one of your children, if you're constantly moving and doing stuff all day, going to the zoo, doing parks, all of that, where they're surrounded by people all the time, they may end up being crabby and cranky because they need that alone time, that time just to be by themselves. So lean into what your individual child needs as well as what you need. So pay attention to that too, to make sure that you are taking the time, just like they are, to refuel their cup. That will make the summer just so much enjoyable for every single person. And then finally, and really I feel most importantly, is to be honest about what is working and what is not working. And that's with any strategy you have in place, any system that you have in place. I always encourage you to check in. If you decided, hey, we're gonna do these anchors, and we're gonna have a morning routine, and we're gonna have a quiet time midday, and you try them and you're like, okay, that is not working. It definitely works better when I can let my kids do their own thing, and then when we leave the house, they need to be dressed. But that doesn't mean that they have to do that the first couple hours in the morning, because that just does not seem to work for our family. And that's okay. Then lean into that. Know the things that work for your family and what doesn't. And you could put one strategy in place and feel that it works really great with certain pieces, but not others. And so you keep certain pieces and you toss the rest or adjust the rest. You may find that as you go out throughout the day, things happen by accident that you can implement into a system. It may be that you find if you eat by 6 o'clock every night, and you tend to start for the whole family to wind down after 6, the next day is so much smoother. Everybody is well rested. They're able to wind down at night and sleep well. But if you have things going until 9 o'clock, don't eat till 10, and they're all amped up and it takes a while for people to wind down, they're really not well rested the next day, and moods are off, and it's just not a fun household. Those are things to lean into and pay attention. If they're extremely good one day, or your energy and attitude is extremely good one day, What do you feel was a result of that? How did that happen? And vice versa. If their attitudes and energy are really off one day, or yours is, okay, what happened within the last 24 hours that could explain that? And then piece those things together and figure out what kind of system or strategy can be implemented in order to make the following days run smoother. Now, I do have an event every single first Saturday of the month called Chaos to Calm, and it's all about adjusting your systems and leaning in and creating a new system and tweaking them as you go. It is at 9 o'clock. It's going to be on the 7th of June, so just around the corner here. And I would love to have you join. It's an hour long. It walks you through a couple different questions in order to support you in creating either a brand new system or adjusting one that you already have in place to work even better. And so now is a really great time, especially if your schedule is going to be adjusted with this new season, to check into the systems that you already have in place. See if you need a different strategy. See if you need to adjust some things in order to carry you through this next season of life a little bit better. If you are interested in joining in that live or want more details on that, definitely respond in the comments. Just respond calm, and I will go ahead and send you the link so you have that and are able to join us on the 7th. All right, my friend, I am so glad that you joined. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you next time.